My fellow Republican governors lurching to the left. You see Democrat governors continuing lurching to the left. When I moved back home with my wife last year, here in Oklahoma, I became a trustee of the Oklahoma Council for Public Affairs, a conservative think tank, and I wondered, looking at the numbers, where'd all the money go? I never had the kind of crises when I was governor. Oklahoma, over the last number of years, has increased its per capita personal income by 70%. But when we looked at the numbers, we saw that now 1 out of 4 people in this state is on Medicaid. 72% of children up to 5 years old have had some experience with Medicaid. 25% are on Medicaid. I mean, you think, what in the world has occurred? Well, what has occurred was Obamacare putting able-bodied people on Medicaid. Medicaid, as you know, Joe, was never intended to be for anything but the frail elderly, health care, nursing homes, mentally and physically deficient. But for us to have such a meteoric increase in Medicaid enrollment, even though Oklahoma didn't expand, this is as a result of Obamacare, the budget is in crisis. And I would say most states are not dissimilar, because a $6.8 billion budget that we had, plus or minus, over a fourth of that now is Medicaid. And when I left office, it wasn't even a factor you discussed around the table. So that's the problem. The 900-pound gorilla in the room is the huge expansion of Medicaid to the able-bodied and frequently young people. Right.
I wonder what the prospects for some type of reform of that is. There's a case to be made, because we know that doctors are exiting that arena, and maybe there's a better way to cover the same people that we're talking about, not throw them out without any health care coverage, but maybe Medicaid isn't the panacea for anyone who doesn't have insurance. But the cat's out of the bag, I'm afraid.
Well, you know, Joe,
yeah.
Well, unfortunately today, the able-bodied are paid more in terms of coverage costs
than the frail elderly. Right.
Yeah, I mean, they are getting more of the money. Doctors are leaving Medicaid services. Why? Because there's a big, long line of people now, many of them able-bodied, and what the doctors want to do is treat the frail, elderly, mentally and deficient and physically impaired, those people that traditionally were to be on Medicaid. But it's killing state budgets, and we didn't even expand. So this has to be a part of the conversation. You can talk about health savings accounts, you can talk about block granting, you can talk about discretion to governors, but none of us want to soil our own nest. We want to take care of our people, but to have these incredible mandates for people who are able-bodied not to be able to take care of themselves, that's just not right.
Well, do you think that what they're talking about right now, what they're going to vote on tomorrow, in some respect, does it solve that problem with the explosion of Medicaid and what would happen over the next 10 years? I mean, if we let it go without doing anything, it's going to become a larger and larger percentage of our health care bill, right?
Well, no, as I said, it's going to cripple state budgets. I mean, how do you spend in a state like, and we're a middle-sized state, whether you're a large state or a small state, how do you spend a fourth, a third, a half of your budget for health care expenses? Well, who's going to pay for the roads? How are you going to pay for public safety, prisons? How are you going to take care of people that truly are in need as opposed to able-bodied? Now, what's coming out tomorrow or next week or whenever, who knows? But a block grant approach, I think, does make sense, adjusted for inflation, where the government says, okay, here are states, you pick up whatever part of this Medicaid budget you should pick up based upon your own needs, and use the discretion that you care and you really are very much focused on to take care of your public. Don't do it in a cookie-cutter way from sea to shining sea. That would probably work, but I'm not sure. Certainly the Democrats wouldn't go for that. And will our fellow Republicans who expanded Medicaid, they just want the money.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.